Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Hope you all are doing well. Today is a gorgeous day. It's about 60 degrees, maybe even a little bit over, so it's a good sign that spring is on the way. Just some updates on the car as well. I did sign up for a weekend at Track Day Picnic. It's a Gridlife event. It's May 22nd to 23rd, I believe. I just signed up for the HPDE. I'm not competing in any type of fashion, but if you guys do show up and you see me, feel free to stop by and say hi. With that said, I still have a ton of work to do on the car. I've got to install all the home developments, brake booster delete parts, the brake master cylinder brace, the pedal set, and I've got rear calipers to install as well. Not only that, I still have to purchase the wire engine harness, the interior panel switch, and the fuse box that comes with that whole kit. I did just get back from Texas last night, and in a couple days I'll be going back down to Texas for work. The work season has started, so it's about to get really busy. So I need to utilize as much time as I can to get this thing done. So I'll show you guys what I'm going to be installing this week. So just to show you guys what I'll be installing this week, I just got rear brake calipers. When I originally put the car together, I actually reused the calipers that came with it. They're kind of junk, so I'm just going to kind of refresh that. I did get speed bleeders too for the calipers. That way I don't have to have a second person to bleed the brakes. If you don't know what these are just brake bleeders with check valves in them. Allows fluid to go out and nothing to go back in, allowing you to do a brake bleed by yourself. Then over here I have a new master cylinder. The Home Development's brake booster delete requires you to use a different style master cylinder, so I have that here. Then I got a brake master cylinder brace here, and then the Home Development's pedal set, so that's gonna be going on. This is also Home Development's, and then I have the Home Development's brake booster delete right here. And then I have a couple bottles of Multiple 600 down there. Here's a quick little tour of the rear suspension and brakes. If you haven't seen it before, don't mind the surface rust on the rotor. That will go away within a few stops. It's been sitting for a little bit. So suspension, I've got Reinhardt hour and coilovers. These are 12K springs, PCI rear trailing arm bushing. Everything on this car is spherical, so I have no rubber on this car at all. This is the Home Development's rear upper control arm. I've got the PCI rear lower control arm and also the Home Development's roll center adjuster bracket down there. And then Progress suspension, rear subframe brace, and sway bar. And for brakes, I have an EP3/RSX brake caliper bracket here. And then this is the stock brake caliper that came on this car. What that does is it allows me to use an EP3 rotor, which is larger than the stock one. And then I also have WinMax W5 brake pads. Those are EP3 fitment also. So everything just bolts up. It's nice, little cheap factory big brake kit. And then of course the ARP extended studs. So I'll go ahead and replace just the rear caliper. I'll go ahead and undo the brake line here. This is a Valix Racing brake line. Undo a couple bolts, get the e-brake cable off, and then should be able to put the new one on. All right, I got the new calipers installed in the rear here. I got the speed bleeders installed also. Everything's hooked up. That went really quick. It was about like 10-15 minutes per side. I'm gonna put the wheels back on for now because I still need to do more brake work up front. And once I have everything done as far as removing the brake master cylinder, moving the brake booster, all that, I'll go ahead and bleed everything at the end. But for now, I'm gonna just put the wheel back on and set the car back down. That way I don't have to have this guy holding it up in case I don't get it all done this week. I gotta remove the gas pedal, the brake pedal, and the clutch pedal because I'm gonna be installing the Home Development's adjustable pedal set. This is the gas pedal there. This is the brake pedal. If you can see, it's actually slotted so I can move it closer or farther away from the gas pedal to aid in heel toe shifting. And then this is the clutch pedal. If you can see here, although the gas pedal has all these holes, it's actually a smooth surface, whereas the brake and the clutch have these raised surfaces for these holes. That's because you want grip on your brake pedal and your clutch pedal, and you want the gas pedal to be smooth, because when you heel toe, you just want to be able to pivot on the brake pedal and blip the throttle. And when it's smooth, it allows you to do that nice and smoothly. Whereas if there were raised edges and you heel-toed, your throttle blip might not be as smooth. So we'll go ahead and pull everything out and then get these installed. Perks of being a small guy. I can fit in tiny places like that. That was a pain. Got the clutch pedal out, brake, and accelerator. Let's get some pedals installed. All right, I got the gas pedal, brake pedal, clutch pedal here. I just ended up removing the whole bracket and assembly here for the clutch pedal. It's just easier that way. The hardware and the pieces that come with the Hone Developments kit. This is the gas pedal here. This right here, I'm guessing this is the actual mount that will get screwed onto the gas pedal itself. And then the Hone Developments gas pedal will go on top of this. Now it looks like it includes a couple spacers if I want to raise that gas pedal a little bit higher. But we'll leave these out for now and I can always add them back later. But we'll go ahead and looks like take these rubber pieces off all of these pedals and then we'll start drilling and well, looks like self-tapping. All right, got the gas pedal on the vise here. I've got the two self-tapping screws installed on the top there. You can see them coming through the back. And then on the bottom here, it utilizes a pre-existing hole and a larger bolt with a locking nut on the back end. It's tightened down. So what's next is I just take the gas pedal, the Hone Developments gas pedal, and line that up with the holes there and then screw it in. And that is done for the install. All right, I got the brake pedals all installed. I think it looks great. I can't wait to actually see what it feels like. But before I go and install these back into the car, since I'm installing the brake booster delete, I do know that I need to drill another hole into the brake pedal here. So if you guys look, we'll take this to the table. If you look at the instructions from Hone Developments, it actually wants you to drill a new hole about an inch higher up from the original hole, and that's going to give you more mechanical advantage because now the pivot point is a little bit higher. That means the lever, aka the brake pedal assembly, is now a longer lever, so now you have more torque application without using more force. This is something that's totally different from a lot of brake booster deletes. A lot of brake booster deletes will just literally delete just the brake booster and nothing else changes. It's as thick as the brake booster itself, so the master cylinder technically doesn't move at all. And in most cases, you don't have to re-bend your brake lines. But in this case, I do because I was using a different master cylinder. All right, I got the template bolted on, got the drill press set up. Just gotta drill this hole. All right, I'm pretty excited at how well that worked. This is the original hole. This is the new hole. This is the clevis here. Of course, that would go through the original hole. And this is now the new hole. Perfect. Now I can get this stuff put back into the car. Day 2 this week, and I'm coming to figure out that I need to do this brake booster delete the same time I'm doing the pedals. So I'm gonna go ahead and start removing the factory brake booster and master. All right, the master is off. I'm gonna have to bend 2 new lines from the proportioning valve to the master cylinder. On the old master cylinder, it actually had an M12 fitting and an M10 fitting. The new master cylinder is gonna have 2 M10 fittings, so it's reverting back to all M10, which is what basically the whole system is using now. But up next, I just gotta go inside the cabin, undo the 4 nuts on the inside, and this booster should be out. Alright, so I got the delete installed right there. It's bolted in from the other side with the 4 nuts. The kit comes with this rod. This is the push rod that will connect the brake pedal to the actual master cylinder. This little nubby on the end here will press up against the master cylinder. That's what will engage it. And this threaded side, you'll use the old clevis from the old booster and also the nut, the lock nut. And then basically you'll just transfer this over onto this rod. And then you'll connect the pedal side first. And then when you're ready to install the master, then you just kind of line it up, bolt the master in, and you should be good. All right, so I got the brake pedal here. It's gonna have to get installed first without the spring. Again, it's got this new hole right here that's drilled. This is the original one, and this is the new one to give me that mechanical advantage. And that's the clevis coming through the hole there. I know it's a little bit dark, but it's right here. So I'm gonna mount this brake pedal up. Then we'll attach the clevis to the brake pedal. Here's a close-up look at the clevis with the new hole. See there, that's the old one at the bottom there. Clevis pin is already through. Everything clears. That's how it'll work. Okay, things are looking good so far. I've got the actual rod hooked up with the clevis pin to the brake pedal itself. Now I just gotta feed the master cylinder on here. I just gotta make sure that this rod activates the master properly, and then we can bolt that thing up. All right, I'm in the process of bending the brake lines here. I got one made already. Goes from down here, down the firewall, and over here on the proportioning valve. Just gotta do one more from right here to the top part of the proportioning valve here. I'm going to have to bench bleed the master cylinder to get all the air out. If you don't bench bleed, you're most likely never gonna get the air out of your brake system. Bench bleed first, and then hook up your fittings, and then do the bleeding at the wheels. All right, I'm done bending brake line. Just had 2 of them done. Here is the second one I did. Goes all the way to this port on the proportioning valve. I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight and continue tomorrow. We'll install the rest of the pedals, and then we'll go ahead and fill up the brake system with some Motul 600, bleed it, and we should be good with the brakes. All right, pedal assemblies are all installed. Look at how sick that looks. I got the brake pedal moved towards the gas pedal as far as you can go. It feels really good. I mean, there's no throttle cable hooked up to the gas pedal, and the brake system isn't really, there's no fluid in it right now, but it feels really good. 4th gear, brake down, clutch with throttle, downshift. Man, I really like that little extension piece on the gas pedal on the bottom left here. It makes it really easy to heel toe. See that? Not even much movement. I can hit it. This is awesome. Can't wait to drive this thing. All right, back under the hood here, we are going to seat these new flares on these 2 new brake lines I made. What you have to do when you make new flares, you actually want to tighten the fitting down as far as you can go. Obviously not to the point where you're stripping the threads. It's kind of a feel thing. Once it gets tight, then you back it off, maybe half turn to a full turn, and then you tighten it down again. And that second time you tighten it down, it's definitely going to turn in a lot more than the first time. But yep, that's what you gotta do when you bend some new brake lines and you flare some new lines. You gotta actually seat the new fittings. All right, got my new brake lines all seated in. I have them removed on this side because I'm going to start the bench bleeding now. Take the cap off. Typically when you buy a master cylinder, it'll come with clear tubing and some fittings, I hope. But the idea is to bleed the air out of the master cylinder, or you bleed the air out of the whole system. these guys will thread right on. Once I thread these on, I basically fill up the master cylinder with brake fluid, and I will attach the clear hoses there from the nipple end of these fittings. These are just plastic, and then the other end will go right into the reservoir. Then I'll just activate the brake pedal and pump and pump and pump until all the air is out, and then reattach the brake lines. And that will be the bleeding process. You just gotta get these hand tight, just like that. There we go. Loop it back into the reservoir. Some thumb strength here. There we go. I'll leave the camera in the bay while I pump the brakes and you guys can watch it bleed. And that's it. That's how you bleed a master cylinder. Got the 2 lines on there tightened up. Just have to clean up all this excess brake fluid that kind of spilled out, it's gonna happen. There's no way to prevent that at all. Now all that's left is get the car up, get the wheels off, and bleeding the brakes at all 4 corners. Before bleeding everything, I think since I'm right here, I might as well install the brake master cylinder brace. Really cool. Simple little solution to brace the master cylinder. All you have to do is undo the nuts for the upper control arm. Slides right on, it gets bolted down. As you can see, this lines up with the master cylinder at the end here. You just adjust the length, and then this keeps that master cylinder and that firewall all stationary, providing you that nice solid pedal. That was quick. Really cool little setup here. This thing should be a pretty darn solid pedal now. Really like how it all came together. Last step, bleed the brakes. Alright, I am all buttoned up. I got a good pedal now, nice and firm. This is way better than what my original pedal felt like, even when the car was on. So I'm pretty excited about this. I really like the feel of this pedal. I'm interested to see how it's gonna feel on the track. That pretty much just wraps it up for this video, guys. As you can see, I did this within a span of about 3 days. It's not that it's taking a really long time, it's just that I work during the day, so I just come to the shop for a few hours after work to work on the car. So that's it for the install for all the whole development stuff. We did the brake booster delete kit, I did the master cylinder brace, I did the pedal set, and I also installed new rear calipers. So I'm super excited to get on track at Blackhawk in a couple of months here. Once again, it's crunch time. I gotta get this thing done so I can get it out on track. But that just about wraps it up for this video. So if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you could give it a share, that would really help out the channel. And if you want to stay up to date with the build, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But until then, I will see you guys later in the next video.